Hello everyone and Happy New Year. This is Pamela from Design Wishes by Pamela, here to share with you a project I showcased back in December. I'm calling it a lantern holiday photo display. And for this project, I used a thrifted item. It was thrifted by my sister Mary. And it's a guest towel holder. And if you don't know what a guest towel holder is, I'm going to show you what it looked like before I did all the distressing to it. And essentially, it's a guest towel holder that you can have in your bathroom. So this is what it looked like before. And it has, this particular one has swivel arms, so you can swivel the towels around. But I turned it into this display holder for your holiday photos. I also, in this project, used the battery operated tea lights, keeping everything safe here. And I used a lot of products, paints and pastes from Finnabair to create the distressing of the guest towel holder. So there you see where there is an access there to turn on the tea light, and it makes a really elegant, kind of warm looking glow to the lanterns. And they're lightweight. That's the other thing. They're lightweight because what I used, you'll see in just a minute, is chipboard to create the chain. And again, I used a lot of the Finnabair paints and pastes to do the distressing on the chipboard to make the chain. The birds and the branches with the pine cones, those all came from Michael's store. So that is where I had, and I had those left over for some home decor pieces that I did for the holidays as well. And I think it just makes a really nice display for your photos over the holidays. It's really simple. There's not very many pages to it. So here you see the thin chipboard that I used to make the links for the chain. And essentially I put 4 of those together, and there you can see them right there. I just glued them together, and then I cut an opening so that each link could fit inside, and then I glued it together. But I did all of the distressing of the chain before I linked them together. And there's another close-up look of what that single link looks like with the 4 pieces glued together and then the opening there. And it just simply really just attaches like that, and then you're going to glue that opening closed. You really don't see it unless you look up close to it, but that's how I secured them. So for the frame, it is a silhouette cut file, and I'm sharing that with you a little later in the video. But I embossed just regular transparency film with some Versamark, and then I used a holographic embossing powder from Ranger. I believe I got it from Ranger. I don't have the bottle anymore. And that's how I got the effect on top of the transparency film that I cut to shape also on the silhouette, my silhouette cameo. And I really like the way that holographic embossing powder looked against the tea light there when it's lit. You can also see it when light gets shown through it as well. So that is how you put together the elements for the lamp. And then I simply just threaded some cording onto the lantern. And there you can see how it really does give a nice look to the lantern. And then again, the access to the battery and on-off switch for future use. Really like the way it's lightweight enough that the lanterns flow nice and easily. So the paper collection I used was Silver Valley from S.E.I. This is a very, very old collection from S.E.I. I am not even sure if you can get it anymore, but the goal of this project was to use what I had, and I just had little bits left. So for the photo section or the journaling section of the display, to get those cutouts to put the ribbon through, I used a We Are Memory Keeper, I'm going to call it a tab punch. And it looks like what they use to hang items like for display in a store. And I'm going to show you here where you just simply punch just like any other punch that you would have. And that's what it looks like. So I'm going to call it like a package display punch. Anyway, I thought that was different, so I had purchased it a while ago and I wanted to use it. The jute ribbon that you see here I got from Michaels. It's a celebrated, and all I did was cut the desired length I needed and then glued the two ends together once I've threaded the mats through. So for this first one, I used one of the embossed trees from the collection, and I just made a simple pull-out pocket with that. And here I used a stamp from Gina Douglas, Deck the Halls, for the Christmas, and I just embossed that and used an embellishment I got from Michaels to make a little photo holder. The Deck the Halls with balls of holly was also a stamp set that I got from Stampin' Up! And the button element came from the Silver Valley ephemera pack. Did a simple belly band with some sticker elements from the collection as well for a photo. And then let me flip it over on the other side so you can see the other pages. Here I just did a double mat and a sticker element from the collection. Took the reverse of the doily. The Mary also came from the Gina Douglas Deck the Halls, and the 25 stamp there that you saw came from a Stampin' Up! Set. And again, I did my traditional punch pocket with my Stampin' Up! Punch. So it's a very simple design, but I thought it was very unique. Again, you all know me that I love albums. Don't get me wrong, I love to do albums, but I also like the fact that you can turn your photos and your albums and your photo displays into something that's artful and part of your home decor, whether it be the holidays like this one or any other year. And again, just to show you some of the items that I used Versamark for the snowflakes on the transparency film. And then I used Gina K ink to ink the Deck the Halls, and I also used Tim Holtz Walnut stain. So I used a combination. I first stamped with the Gina K red, and then I stamped the holly a little bit with the walnut stain to get that effect. Kind of wanted a little vintage. Here is that stamp set for the snowflakes from Stampin' Up! And then also here is the stamp set for the Deck the Halls and for the 25. And then here again is the Gina Douglas Deck the Hall stamp set that I used the Mary with and I used the Christmas with. So let me just turn that around so you can take a look at that. And all I did was that is just stamped it, and then I embossed the Christmas word there with some embossing powder. And so that again, that's what the stamp set that I used. I really like this stamp set. I look forward to using it again for another holiday season. So there you have it, the lantern holiday photo display. So now I am going to share with you how I created some of the elements using my Silhouette Designer Edition software. So here you have the four sides of the lantern, and I'm gonna give you the measurements for this in just a minute. You'll see it on the screen. Now, unfortunately, I want to share this with you on my blog, but my software does not, my blog software does not allow me to attach it to the tutorials. However, if you send me an email at designwishesbypamela@gmail.com, I will send you the file I designed. This is my original design. This is not a silhouette design. I actually created myself. So you will want to cut 4 for each lantern, or a total of 8 for the 2 lanterns like in the design project. And here I give you the entire piece with the score lines and the little flaps on the side, so that you'll be able to attach the 4 sides together and then the base to the bottom. Now, point of note, you may have to make your own adjustments based on your machine software and the design that you want to achieve. So for purposes of simplifying it a little bit, I'm going to get rid of these extra pieces right now and just focus on the one piece so you could see the measurements clearly. So let me just make an adjustment, and then I think I can zoom this in a little bit more. There you go, so that you can see what the measurements are. So bear with me just a second here as I show you those measurements. So there are the full measurements for the triangle pieces for the lantern. Again, you're going to want to cut 4 of those, okay? And I gave you the score lines to fold your triangle piece. Okay, so then you're going to want to cut 4 of the vellum inserts. And again, I just use ordinary transparency film. You can use, I don't know if I would use a thin acetate, but you want it to be not too thick, not too thin. That's why I thought the transparency film was a good weight. Because remember, you're going to use your heat gun to do the embossing, so you don't want to melt whatever medium that you use for the inserts. So you want to cut 4 of those. Now, let me just tell you that that base side that you see up in the upper left-hand corner, you don't need that. That was just me trial and error. You will need to cut at least 1 or 2 for your base bottom. And just a little tip, on the base bottom, I used the front cover of the paper collection. I just took and used that to cut, because it had it was a little more rigid to support the tea light. So think about that when you do it, okay? So what you're going to do to attach the base bottom with your tea light to the triangle lantern piece is that straight edge up here at the top, right here. You're going to attach that to the base bottom. And when you attach all 4 sides of the triangle pieces of the lantern, you're going to have an open bottom, and it's going to be square. And that's where you're going to attach that piece right there. You're just going to add some adhesive on the back side and fold it over the edge of the base. And let me zoom so you can see both of these together, so you can better understand what I just explained. So you're going to end up again with an open bottom part of the triangle for the lantern. You're going to take that top open edge of your triangle right there, and you're going to glue it to the bottom part of the base bottom. Now, one of the other things you're going to want to do, depending on your tea light that you use, you're going to want to cut a an opening, a circle opening for your tea light once you get it centered. And I'm not showing that here, but I want to make a note, make sure you do that. I'll cut a center open for your tea light. So that is how you attach the lantern to the base bottom. Okay, so for the links, and you see I have a lot of them on here. For the links, I actually cut several out of one sheet of the chipboard. And I used Silhouettes brand's chipboard. It runs through my Cameo just fine, and I didn't have a problem cutting it. Of course, if you get this file from me, make sure that you adjust everything to your software in your machine. So that is the chipboard that I used. But I'm going to get rid of all of the extra ones so that you could see the measurements on one simple link. And again, I cut per link, you need 4 pieces for the thickness that I used on my project. So I'm going to get rid of all these and just get one. And then I am going to zoom in so you can see the measurements. And I could talk a little bit about how I brought it all together. So give me just a second here while I make that adjustment and zoom in for you guys so you could see it just a little bit better. So there you go. So essentially it's 2 ovals, one that's offset in the center and then a cut line, a vertical cut line to have the link open. So there is the outward measurement, and then this is the inside measurement for the inside circle. And this was based on the width that I wanted my link to be. And of course, this is the measurement for the cut line, the vertical cut line, so that the links can be attached to each other. And again, it's really up to you how thin or thick you want it. I kind of did a trial and error on how I'm really guesstimating on the weight of the lantern and how much thickness I wanted to have for each link for the design element, the design project. Okay, and again, I'll be happy to email you this file. It is my own original design. It is not a Silhouette design, although I designed it in the software. It's not one that I grabbed off of any of the design files. So there you have it. Again, it's much, much easier to print a lot of these on one sheet. And I think I only had to print them once like this to achieve the number of links that I had for each of my my chains. But again, print as many multiples as you need to do it. But it's gluing 4 for each link. So 4 pieces for each link. So there you have it. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this project. I sure enjoyed putting it together and sharing it with you. And I hope you're inspired to make your own photo display. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you like what you see, please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on my blog. Thank you so much.